Hi everyone, today we'll be covering one of your edXL GCSE topics, and that is urbanisation. So, the first question I wanted to ask everyone is, does anyone know what the term urban means? Great, so the term urban means belonging to a town or a city. And over here, we have the Collins definition of the term urban. So could everyone read that definition and take a couple seconds just to fully understand what the term urban means? Great. So, an example of an urban area in the UK is London or Manchester, but we've also seen areas become more urban over time, and this process is called urbanisation. Around the world, urban areas are growing rapidly, and urban planning is essential to ensure that opportunities are maximised and the challenges are minimised. The next slide displays urban growth push and pull factors. So, can anyone tell me what they might think push and pull factors are? Great. So, push factors are negative things that make people want to leave an area. So, for example, war or unemployment. And pull factors are positive things that attract people to move to a place. For example, good employment opportunities. The world's population is currently a whopping 7.8 billion. And within the world, Africa is the continent with the fastest growing population. So, madly, more than half of global population growth between now and 2050 is expected to occur in Africa. Here, we can see a graph of population growth in Niger. The projected population growth between 2018 to 2030 in this African nation is 53.2%. With 48 births and 10 deaths per 1,000 people each year, the rate of natural population growth in this African country stands at 3.8%, the highest in the world. In contrast, some countries are experiencing population decline. And here we'd have two European countries, Bulgaria and Lithuania. Bulgaria's population was around 9 million at the end of the 1980s, but it fell to fewer than 7 million in 2018, and is expected to fall below 6 million in 50 years. According to the UN, Bulgaria will lose 23% of its population by 2050. This country is neck and neck with Lithuania. Move back to the graph. With Lithuania for the fastest shrinking population in the world. Sorry, it's a very small little fact on the board there, but it's another interesting fact about Lithuania's declining population. Today, 55% of the world's population lives in urban areas, and that proportion is expected to increase by 68% by 2050. So, the number of cities with over 10 million people is basically increasing. And when a city has 10 million people or more, it is called a megacity. And here we have a list of the world's top 10 megacities. So you can see from the list that they've all got a great deal of people living in them. Globally, the number of megacities is projected to rise from 33 in 2020 to 43 in 2030. There are many reasons for this urban growth, and the next slide should tell us a bit more about that. So, the population of cities usually changes in one of two ways. So we have natural increase or decrease. So this is kind of the difference between the number of births and the number of deaths. And we also have migration. And we know what migration is. It's the flow of people in and out of the city. So more and more people are wanting to leave rural areas, so the countryside areas, and move to cities. And this is called rural to urban migration. I want you all to repeat back to me, rural to urban migration. So, people move because of push and pull factors. And as we know from before, push factors are things that make people want to leave a rural area, and pull factors are things that attract people to a city. So can anyone think of examples of push and pull factors? Good job. Just for reference later on when you're turning back to your notes, here we have a list of push and pull factors. So, brilliant. Just take your time to read through them and then we'll move on. I've got a quick question for everyone. Can anyone think of a country where they might have observed push or pull factors either deterring or attracting people to cities? Brilliant. So now let's move on to India, which is one of our case studies, in particular a city in India named Mumbai. So India is an example of an emerging country. Each year, thousands of people move to the city of Mumbai from rural areas. And there we have this picture of the cityscape of Mumbai. People move to the city because it has a lot of pull factors. So people think that the city will provide them with a lot of opportunities. I want you guys to think of some possible opportunities that a city like Mumbai might offer people coming from rural areas. Here we have some examples. So we have social, so better housing and services, so healthcare and education. We also have economic, so more jobs and higher wages. We have environmental, so better living conditions, for example, less chances of natural disaster. Overall, people who move to cities like Mumbai think they'll have a better quality of life. But unfortunately, cities like Mumbai also provide people with a lot of challenges. The people who do move to these cities do not always have a better quality of life when they move. And here are some of the reasons why. So social, poor housing conditions and crime; economic, low wages or unemployment; and environmental, pollution, drinking water, and a lack of sanitation. So next week, we're going to look at a specific case study of someone who moved to Mumbai from a rural area, and we're going to analyse what challenges they may be facing once they have moved to the city. Thank you very much for the lesson. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as me. If anyone has any questions, you know, of course, you can come to me at the end.